So good evening, Mayor Sabol, Mr. Douglas, Chairman Bennett, and Mr. Lanford, other members of the City Council and County Board of Supervisors assembled. I'm Ingrid Barber, Executive Director for the Alleghany Highlands Community Services Board, and I'm here this evening to request the local appropriation for our agency for 2017-2018 fiscal year. And I'm also here to request continued funding for psychiatric and therapy services for our regional jail. Before I validate our request, I just want to explain how we arrived at the figures that we have presented tonight. In doing so, we base the funding on the number of clients that we serve in each locality and the individual service units, which equated to about 35% for Covington, City of Covington, and 65% for Alleghany County. So in the request that I submitted, we are requesting $64,675,000 from City of Covington under the code. For our local match, you will see that this amount is a little bit more than what it was last year, and that is due to the fact that we received a little bit more funding for assessment and the eval, which made the local match go up a little bit from the state. So our state match went up a little bit more. And we are also requesting from the City of Covington $11,275 for the psychiatric and therapy services in our local regional jail. And that program has been very successful. So that's the amount we're requesting from the City of Covington. From Alleghany County, we are requesting as the local appropriation amount $120,737. And also for the psychiatric and therapy services, we're requesting $28,993. In my presentation that I submitted to the City of Covington and also to the county, I provided some numbers for the therapy services since we instituted the program in the jail. And the number of members that have gone through the services are 47. There has been some dropouts. We had 18 dropouts, 10 transfers, because those individuals may have transferred to another jail site. And then we've also had some that were released from the program, but we did have a lot to go through the whole process of the therapy program that we had in place. In addition, under psychiatric services, there was a total of 231 individuals seen in the jail. So you're probably saying the jail only has like 100 and some spaces. So some of these people may be duplicated where they've seen the psychiatrist more than once. Positive mental health screens that came through the jail were 81, and then inmates requesting psychiatric services was 135, and then staff-initiated psych services resulted in 15. So that's a little bit of the census, and I wanted to provide you some data tonight to let you know who we're serving and what the services look like in the jail and where your dollars were going to as far as funding. The dollars are paying for the psychiatrist who's coming over weekly, and also they're paying for the therapist who's in the jail. And it started out where she was in the jail a half a day, and now she's in the jail for pretty much a full day when she goes down there. So I will entertain any questions that you may have in regards to my funding requests. And I just want to point out that I have Patty Flanagan, who is our fiscal manager, with me here tonight. Two board members that are here tonight, Ann Dean, which is the vice chair, and also I have Lisa Hicks, who's the chair of the board, and also jail support. We work closely.
For the county, last year was $112,000. Some change this year is 120. Is that the required 10%? The 120, does that represent the required?
The 120 represents the required local match. And the reason why, as I explained earlier, that is a little bit more. We received a little bit more assess and eval money. You will recall that back in 2013, Alleghany Highlands Community Services was one of the first CSBs in the state to go to an open access model. That's where people can come in and be seen in our clinic without an appointment. Well, the state wanted to move to that model, and just last year the state moved to that model and they funded 18 boards. So we were one of the one of the 18 boards that was funded to move to that model. They wanted there not to be like people waiting for services. They can just come in. So we have open access hours between the time period of 12:30 to 3:30, Monday through Friday. Anybody that wants to be seen, they can come in and an assessment can be done. So that service hasn't been funded, even though I provided the service back in 2013. But the state decided to fund that service, so they gave us a little bit of funding. So that ramped up the local match, because we have to base it on our state funds that we receive when we determine what your local match is going to be per each locality.
The substance abuse counseling program, the 28,933,
That's the
level.
same amount, level funding. We did not request any additional funds for that.
Just for understanding, you said that there's a psychiatrist that comes to the jail half a day? They actually physically are in the jail? They're
physically in the jail, yes. So she comes over and does assessments, evaluations, prescribes medications, reviews charts. Anything else you want to add, Terry?
Well, no, but this is a very valuable process, because before we worked closely with CSB, people would come to jail, there was no continuity of care. They get plopped in jail, then they would lose the support of CSB, and then when they got out, they'd have to start all over again. Or conversely, it worked both ways, but now it flows from the jail setting to the street, and the level of care remains the same. You know, they don't have to transition out or in now. They can go right from jail to the CSB and vice versa, and it's working remarkably well.
That was my question. It's your presentation. I hate to put the sheriff on the spot, but I was just curious. I think he's already answered it. Do you think it's working?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Is it having an effect on the budget, or what's the fiscal success of the program?
Well, we did not request any additional funds. It's just level funding. It's merely paying for the psych service and paying for the therapist that's in the jail. So I'm not sure I understand what your question is.
You said it had been successful, but how do you measure success?
Well, I think it's successful, and you had a program, well, they had a jail that didn't really have a therapy program in it at all. So now they're receiving therapy services weekly. It started, we worked closely with the jail staff on the census, but it started out where we just started with a few, and now that has grown. So it went from a half-a-day program to a full-day program. She's down there all day. Potentially, it could potentially go into 2 days. We haven't seen that yet. We're trying to keep it at 1 day, because we have such a lack of therapists in our clinic. I can't, put a therapist down in the jail full-time or 4 or 5 days during the week. But, I mean, it's worked out with the numbers that we've seen the numbers grow. And some people have been successful in completing the program. You're going to have some folks that aren't going to complete the program, for it may be that they're only in the jail for a short period of time. They're not going to be in jail for the time period that the treatment program, subsides. It may be that they're only in there for a short period of time and then they get released. So that would be a reason why an inmate wouldn't complete the program.
But if they're in the jail for a short period of time, can they still, after they get out, continue the class?
Once they get out, they are able to come to us for services. That is voluntarily. We cannot require anyone to be mandated to come to the CSB for services, but we hope that with that relationship of being in the jail and going through the program, that if they need to reach out for additional therapy or additional resources, that we are available in the community for them.
Unless it's part of their probation, which the judge from Stanton is coming here to start the court now once the IOP program to complete that.
Our IOP numbers are up. That's our intensive outpatient program. Now, many of the individuals that go through intensive outpatient, a lot of them are court ordered, and they have to go through our program. And it is a 16-week program where they go through, and they come 2 to 3 days a week to get the intensive treatment.
Is it too early to tell if you're seeing people that receive the treatment return back to jail?
Yeah, I think it's too early to tell, because we've only been operating this program since last year, if I'm not mistaken. 1 year we tried it for part of the year, and then we didn't get the funding. And then I think last year we got the funding back and we're able to start the program back in the jail. So I think it's really too soon to tell with the concrete numbers that you're looking for, but we feel like it's successful. Some people are getting the services and they're continuing the services when they get out. And like I said, our circuit court judge who has all these, they have a drug court actually in the county that he's from, in Augusta County, and so he's wanting people to go into the IOP program. So they're ordering those. We feel like it's successful for the people in the jail for what we're paying for.
Any other questions that you have? We're serving in total between Alleghany County and the city of Covington approximately 1,400 residents. So that's a significant number of our population that we're serving. And that's across all services, mental health, substance use disorder services, and also developmental disabilities, which we picked up brain injuries, those that have autism. We picked up those individuals, and we're also serving those individuals under the DD area. For our population not to be constantly growing, we still are picking up and still have significant numbers of people that we serve here. And there are people being identified every day. And those are the people that we've identified in the community. So there are people that haven't been identified that usually end up with our services.
Have you seen a spike in the number since this opioid issue has?
Yes. Yes. You know, since the opioid issue has come to light, I think that we within the CSB, we're actually doing a mass mailing to people in the community to let them know what services we're providing. That's something that I hadn't really done in the past, but we're getting lots of phone calls and lots of contact. Even our open access, we're seeing days where we have anywhere from 7 people to 10 people who may have show up on busy days where they're walking in for services. And just getting the information out in the community about what services we provide and educating the public on, you know, opioid use. We have seen our numbers increase with that.
So on the board council saw in the paper, Roanoke Times, I believe this past weekend, there's been class action filed Dickinson County and Alexandria, the city of Alexandria, against opioid manufacturers. Sheriff, Commonwealth Attorney, along with the county attorney have been talking about the issue. We're not sure we fully understand it enough to bring it to the board to consider. But it's something that if you've seen that or read that article, that conversation is ongoing, and we're having it to see if there is a chance to recover some of those costs for increases to their program, increases to the sheriff's program, Commonwealth Attorney Court's costs. And once we understand exactly how it works, we try to reach out to folks in Dickinson County. We've had some conference calls with folks to try to understand exactly the workings of it. We'll bring that information back to you when we have it. But it's a huge issue, it's a huge cost, it's a huge burden on the community.